Hello YouTube, it's Jeff. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different, and it's not going to be a very long video. I just wanted to showcase the new Dashcam mod in the helicopters. Helos. I don't know why I said helicopter, it's helicopter. Old helicopter. Anywho, here we are at Francis International Airport. We're going to get in the, this is a beautiful Bell 206B helicopter, and take you around the city for a little flight, and just showcase the mod. So here we're getting in. You can see, we can see everything. Fire up the engines. What's really cool is kind of like the ELS mods. It lets me know the closest road that I'm to. Lets me know where I'm at as well. It's got a working altimeter on the right there, and it's got a working heading indicator. So we're just going to take off here a little bit, fly around, you know, have a look. It's attached pretty much to wherever you look with the camera, so really cool feature. I mean, this is crucial if you want to fly a helicopter correctly. I'm using the realistic driving and flying mod, so the flying allows me to have absolute control of my cyclic, which is left, right, up, down, all that good stuff, and then my anti-torque pedals, which spin me left and right. Alright, so let's take off and fly around a little bit. Francis ground, this is Air 1. Yeah, Air 1, we're just here on the Bravo pads, ready for a north departure. Alright, clear for takeoff, north departure approved, and we'll squawk VFR 1200 for Air 1. Normally you get a hover taxi, but this time around we're gonna actually do a little bit of a departure off here to the north. I told them I would be leaving to the north, so that's exactly what I intend to do. I'll make sure we get on the heading of 360. And we're on the Broker Dukes Expressway down there, as you can see it. Now, one thing that's really interesting, most people don't know about helicopters when you fly, is most people want to fly them like the movies, straight down. But you'll see what that does is you'll lose a lot of altitude, because helicopters are kind of like airplanes. They fly straight and level, believe it or not. The only time you do push that nose to cyclic forward is when you want to gain a lot of speed at one time. But realize when you do that, you need to pull the collective, which is what you would call your accelerator. You'd want to pull that in before you dip that nose down, so you don't lose the altitude. So a really good example here is let's climb to about 500 feet ASL. ASL is, I don't know what they're going with there. It's usually AGL, above ground level. Okay, we're traveling at 74 knots or so. So anywho, you can see we're traveling along here almost to 500 feet. There's almost to 500 feet, about right there. Alright, so we're about 500 feet. Now if I push this nose forward, look at all that airspeed climbs, but we drop, right? Correct. We'll pull some more collective in again. So if we're flying along here, and I want to drop this nose, I'm going to be full on collective. The goal is watch my altitude. See how it's dropping to 400? We would adjust the cyclic accordingly to make sure that we do not lose the altitude that we initially started the maneuver in. So we're going to do a little bit of low flying stuff here along the side of the beach. Just showing off the realistic flying mod and how awesome that is. There we go. We're about 200 feet or so, which is fine. Normal operations in a helicopter for places like LA and all the good stuff like that, usually about 500 feet, mainly because of airspace restrictions. So if we said that, you know, say that we had an airspace by Francis International Airport, we would know that because or we would know how to get around it based off of that. If I had to go there. Let me fly a little bit better here. Didn't mean to do all that. But if Francis International Airport had Bravo class airspace, I would know I could only fly up to a certain level, and I would just fly the corridors that are around the city. But anyway, as you can see, I have full-on control of the cyclic, and what I mean is, here, watch, we're gonna pull our nose back here. It's gonna bleed our speed off. We're gonna get climb with our get a good amount of altitude here, so we can do our maneuver. Spin back around here to the west. Alright, I have full, whenever you have the realistic flying and driving mod, you have full control over the helicopter. Ooh, that looks terrible. I don't know what that was about. So that means I can roll the helicopter all the way over on its back and around, and there we go. It's going to be really hard to pull out of that. Well, that's why we had all that altitude. You can't do that without that kind of mod. And also, same thing for back and forward. You have full control of that input, which is helpful for when you're doing landings, especially from the inside view. You really are kind of handicapped when you have those limits. So say I'm going to put her down right there on that helipad over here on the right. Well, I guess it's kind of being occupied. No, the open one here. Bleed my speed off, coming in right nice and easy. And what we do is we don't want to fight the helicopter too much. We want to let it do its job, but we also want to get it into a controlled. We're about 20 feet off. We want to get a controlled amount of speed that we want to set in. We're almost like 4 here. See, I'm not down yet. Oh, there we were down there. So we were a little early, but that's because I just haven't flown this thing in so long. Let's get out and fly the Blackhawk, since it's just a badass helicopter. Let's do that. Alright, let's get in the Blackhawk. Flies a little bit better. Alright. The Annihilator it is, known as. Alrighty. We're gonna dust off a little bit there. That's why I put my cyclic forward, is because I wanted to get a lot of speed coming out of the gun, or out of the chute. So, let's just do some little low flying stuff underneath these bridges. And get a nice control, a nice feel for these controls. What's really cool about these controls is that you can fly it like a helicopter. What I mean by that is any airplane or helicopter that you're going to fly, you'll notice that small, minute inputs are what are needed to properly fly realistically and smoothly. I'm going to come back around here, come under this bridge, letting out of my collective, letting the helicopter build its speed up, which it's doing there. And now I'm watching my altimeter there, so I know how close to the ground I am. And what's interesting about that is when you are real low to the ground in a real helicopter, or what they would be using there at night would be called radar altimeter or radio altimeter. What it is it's kind of bouncing a radar signal off the ground, letting you know just how high off the ground you are. So see, I know I'm 500 feet. But if I wanted to fly real low without crashing into the water, I could actually keep an eye on that and know how close I am to the water. Especially when operating at night, it's very, very important. So there's 80, 70, 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, there's 15, 12, we're about 10 feet off the ground. We don't want to go underneath 10, that's for damn sure. Give a nice turn to the right. Another thing is everybody, whenever they turn these helicopters, they really want to hit that right bumper or all that anti-torque pedal. And what happens is you'll actually get the helicopter to go against you. You kind of got to fly it like an airplane once it's up to speed. So you just bank it nice and easy to the left and nice and easy to the right. And it will do what you want it to do. So say we want to turn around a point, that building right there. I would just kind of hold her. I'm going to gather some altitude here. You kind of want to just, I'm flying all with just the stick, all the cyclic. I'm not using any anti-torque pedal at all, any of the rudder inputs. So what I'm doing is I'm turning around in this point right here, this building right here. I'm still following it, as you can see. Well, I'm not doing very good there, but if I wanted to come down here to another building. Now see right here, I'm not giving any gas. I'm letting the helicopter fly itself, because the helicopter will, it's kind of like an airplane. It'll it'll do what it wants to do in the air, and that's fly. So it's kind of nice and easy around here. But as you can see, this is just an amazing setup. Having a heading indicator and having a correct altimeter, as well as letting you know the neighborhoods you're in and streets. I mean, you really can't ask for anything better than that. It's pretty fantastic. And the whole box and the reticule there in the center, that's for if you're going to shoot guns, which I don't believe I have on any in this one. And Francis Tower, this is Air 1. Yeah, we're just going to be about a mile to your west. We're going to stay clear of Bravo down here at about 200 feet. And Air 1's got the 747 in sight. We're going to be right base for the Bravo pads. Alright, clear to land at the Bravo pads for Air 1. Alright, so we're going to come in down here on the pads. I'm doing a little bit of maneuvering here. And I know the pads will probably be occupied, so we'll be landing just where we started off earlier. And that'll be to the right. Still trying to get used to some of these controls on this realistic driving and flying mod. Did a little side slip there. I'll come back down over here. I'm calling it the Bravo pads because that's what that taxiway right there on our left is. Taxiway Bravo. There we are. And we're down. So, let's just take off and have a real fun lap. And I'm not going to communicate with Francis Tower because, number one, they are not there, and number two, we're just going to have fun. So see how I'm doing very, very, very small adjustments, or not adjustments, but inputs on the controls, and the helicopter is behaving how it should. Whenever you fly any of the default ones, I mean, without this mod, it is just a pain in the ass because you shouldn't have to use that much the anti-torque as you do whenever you fly those. In a real helicopter, you have a lot of control of where you want it to go. I know it's going to spawn those things a little late, so we're just going to climb right over this. And the Blackhawk, it's a lot faster than the Liberty City tour guides, that's for sure. Let's have a little fun. Let's do a nice flyby right over the treetops here on this island. Yeah, in real life we probably would have taken us out there, but I know GTA allows you to go through the tops of the trees. Alright, there's Actor Industrial Park. Bring this nose up a little bit. We're going to climb right over the top of this building, just by a little bit there. There she goes. And it's nice and easy, and what I'm doing is I'm pulling that stick over to the right and just kind of holding it there a little bit. And letting the helicopter nose fall over how it should. Now that's one thing that's really cool, and that the default helicopters do not do, is when I bring this nose over to the right, the helicopter should turn to the right automatically because of the centrifugal force to bring that nose over. So I shouldn't have to use any anti-torque pedal when I'm doing that. And this actually simulates that quite well. I can just let that nose drop over and I don't have to worry about fighting it. Especially whenever you're doing low maneuvers low to the ground, such as I'm doing right now. Scary stuff too. But you just kind of let that helicopter fly itself. Brings that nose over. There it is again. Very nice. I absolutely love flying this thing. The Blackhawk's fast, it's mean, it gets the job done. So I'm not fighting the helicopter very much. As you can see, I'm letting it do its job. And that's what you want to do. Alright, we're coming back up on the Bravo pads. Slow it down, bring that nose up, start pulling that collective out. That's what we want. Bring that nose up, pull that collective out. Bring that nose up, pull that collective out. Bring the nose up, pull that collective, pull that collective, pull the collective, add the collective. And we're almost back to our spot we started at. Kind of don't fight it, a little bit more collective. There we go. And we're down. Not the best, but I think you kind of get the idea. But anywho, that's her in a nutshell. Hope you guys enjoyed it.